everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. It's Cindy, and I'm here today with day number 12 of this Spring Around Ephemera Challenge. So today's prompt is day number 12, eggs. So this, in case you aren't aware, is a collaboration with a bunch of really amazing friends, and so they are Release the Craftin', Pink Odd Bird, myself, Terrific Tomes, Bellaboo Creations, Serene Bookworks, and SB Artistry. So this is a fun spring ephemera making challenge. So I did do a little bit of prepping ahead of time so that I would not take forever here getting this ready. So things honestly took a funny turn because I was trying to decide what I wanted to make with eggs that wasn't overly like super Eastery, that would be fun. So I found this image, it's a vintage image from like a bird guide, and I scanned it, and then I thought about what to do with it, and I decided to just cut out all the little eggs here. And so I cut them out and I inked around them so they're ready to go. And let me pop this over here. I also have this piece of acetate that was from packaging. I'm always trying to use these up, so I was thinking, what kind of project am I going to do with this? Because it has this sort of stand-up texture, like you see how it pops out a little bit. So I have this journal that I'm making for my design team project for Release the Craftin', and what I've done here so far with this is going to be the Ostara diary, and so it's going to be very spring themed. So I've covered the entire book cover with birch bark. Then I've done some spraying with both silver and gold paint. I wanted to kind of make it sort of a little more special, and then I've added some fabric on the spine, and I've done the same thing to the back. So I now want to kind of bring it back down a little, back to nature, away from the glitz a little bit. So what I did was I took some more of my birch bark. This is just birch bark from some little trees that we had to cut down on our property that there was just so many of them, they were killing each other, so we had to cut some of them down, and we kept the bark. I peeled it all off and just kept it because there's no better place to find things than in nature. So I glued a little bit more of the bark down here, and I think what I want to do is use this for the background for this eggs project. So I also am thinking about this as a shaker type card that will live on the front of this journal. So we're going to try to execute this and see how it goes. So first thing is, this was just a piece of cardstock, glued this down, stitched around it just to give it some firmness. Then the next thing that I want to do is I want to glue it down, create my scene, then glue the whole thing behind this, which I will then glue down on here, or potentially probably stitch as well. Then that's going to go on the front cover, and then I'm going to hide my glue with something, possibly wool or branches or something. I have to get to that stage, but we may not do the entire thing. What I want to show you today is really going to be about the eggs. So all of that being said, I think we can get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my art glitter glue and glue down this card that I created onto this background. And I want to have a little bit of this sort of mesh fencing in the background. This is just a piece of scrapbook paper that is torn in half. It was leftover scraps. I don't know what pack it comes from. It's probably not even a full pack. I probably got it at a thrift store. Okay, so now that's on there, and that's going to give me a decent amount of runway to add this on top. So most important thing with acetate is don't get glue and smudges all over it and make it all messy. So I'm going to set it aside while we build what we want on here. So I have a couple things that I want to add to this background to set the stage for this shaker card. So the first is this bunny from the Ostara Diary from Release the Craftin', and then this is just a vintage bird that I really thought was cute. So I'm going to put them on here, and then I'm also going to add this little bit of sheep's wool right there as like a little nest. So now I can go ahead and just glue these down. I'm not going to glue the edge of the wings quite yet because I'm going to have to trim them. So I'll just glue everything else here. So this, I want it to sort of curve a little. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to trim the wing at the edge of the card. And then anything else that wants to hang off also needs to go. There we go. And just press and glue everything down. Get rid of the leaf edge. Okay, that bird is down, and I pre-inked around these already so that I wouldn't be spending time doing so. Okay. Going to push this up just an ever such little tiny bit there. Okay, there we go. Pop that down. Okay. So there we go. We have the main card down. Then I need art glitter glue, which I should have turned upside down. The other thing I was thinking it would be nice to do maybe is to emboss these eggs. So I might do that. I just have to get my embossing stuff. Just give me 2 minutes and I will get my embossing stuff. Okay, so embossing stuff is all here, and I'm just going to go like 4 at a time so the ink doesn't dry, and I'm going to use this holographic sparkle here. I don't know how many of these eggs I'm ultimately going to be using, but I'm just going to treat them all the same so I have options. It's better to have too many rather than not enough. And I'm not going to like super heavily, you know, put a ton of embossing on them. I'm purposely kind of scattering it a little bit. And these are nice shades of like brown and blue. Okay, so I'll just put the lid on the embossing ink for everything. This is, by the way, this embossing powder is made by Ranger. It's the holographic. It's really pretty. So now I'm going to go ahead and just lift these up. think what I'll do maybe is just put them on here. Whoops. Because then they go from being like regular eggs to sort of special eggs, but not, you know, your super typical like Easter egg where they're like really bright colors and kind of a little too wild for what I want here. Okay. So now that I've got these all sitting here, I'm going to put away the excess embossing powder. So just give me a couple of moments to do that. Okay, so the dramatic embossing is over. I really love the color shiftiness of this holographic embossing powder. I don't love the mess it makes though. Embossing is always so dramatic for me. But the biggest problem was that the eggs wanted to blow away because they were so little. And I probably should have just embossed like the whole card now that I think about it. But, you know, these ideas always come whenever they want to. So now I just want to put this plastic down on here, this acetate, and I'm going to just trace on around where I want it to be with a pencil. Oops, hold on. Okay. It doesn't need to be outrageously perfect because I'm going to be covering the edges a little anyways. But, you know, relatively good, I would say. So now let's cut this out. Okay, now what I think we can do is just, I want to go in with a little bit more art glitter glue into where this wants to kind of ripple a little, maybe. I mean, it's not going to lift, I don't think, but yeah, it's definitely not going to lift. I just want to go in and press it with a little more glue and just make sure that it doesn't do anything strange. I don't think it will, but okay. I so love that little snowdrop detail. It's so cute. Okay, so now we want to put our little nest on down here. Just going to trim this off. Just a little bit of wool. Just decide what way I like it better. Maybe like that. Okay, so the fiber can get glued down now. We'll just use Fabri-Tac glue for this. This bottle needs to get refilled and I totally forgot to do it. I will do it today. Though I am known to make this claim very often. We'll see if I actually remember to refill Fabri-Tac. Okay, so that's good and gluey. And just pop it right there. And then I think because I do want to use Fabri-Tac to attach this, I'm just going to take a little break and refill the bottle and come right back. The glue bottle has been refilled and I totally just started working again. All I did, it was very simplistic. I just put a little bit of gilding wax here and there on the blue paper. I didn't go crazy. So now I'm going to lay some of my eggs on here. Kind of get a bit of a variety. Different colors. Now, if I wasn't using such a narrow piece of acetate, I would most definitely have taken that other piece that I had, I would have cut all these out and I would have glued them together so they were double-sided, but this is too narrow for them to be able to turn around, so I don't have to do that. So I think I'm going to use that amount of eggs. And then I'm just going to lay this on here and get a concept. Yeah, like see how they're going to shake around. Okay, perfect. Okay, so before we get any weirdness on this acetate on the inside of it, so I'll just put all these eggs here. That's a good number, I think. Then I'm going to take my glue, do another check of my acetate, make sure there's nothing under it, and just go around. This is the most stressful part of this, is just not getting glue where it doesn't belong. Okay. Now we just sort of gently lay it on there. And like I said, I'm going to be kind of covering up. I need a piece of paper under this. Let's just grab my book here, because we're going to have some glue seeping. That's okay. The glue is not going to be the only thing holding this down either. I'm going to be stitching it, but I just really want to get some glue under it as well, because it's going to make it a lot easier for me to do the stitching. Okay, stressful part of the video. Getting a little off center, I think. Yep, there. Okay. Uh-oh, we have an egg stuck in the side. We have to abort this egg from the... abort this mission. Come on. Get in there. Where's my pokey tool? That'll help. Or actually, my ruler. Or my paintbrush end. Get down there. Oh, this is such the stubbornest little egg. Holy moly. There. Oh my god. Okay. So, the good news... Oh no! What's happening on this side? Ah! Okay, hold on. This is the comedy part of the show. This is the I didn't do a prototype of this design. This is what happens in the background when I don't film. I just do all this craziness in the background and you don't get to see it usually. So I save it for these special moments. Okay, push, push, push. They just really want to hang out on this edge. All right. Okay. Okay, so they're all in there. I'm going to go ahead and stitch this and just do a little bit of refining, making sure nothing gets stuck and just making it neat and tidy. So I'll be right back with that. Okay, we got them in there and they're all free moving. And I got the stitching around the edges. That was definitely a little tricky, but I am happy with it, and they all do freely move. I've tapped this around and made sure that none of them are stuck. So yeah, they all move around. So there's a little look at how it turned out. I know it's a little shiny on the camera, but it's actually really cute, and I'm so happy with it. I think, here's my journal, here it is. I think it's going to be really cool on there, and I think it's going to kind of bring me back to the nature element. I'll still have the glitziness, but I won't be too glitzy. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. This is, as I mentioned, the Spring Around Ephemera Making Challenge. So this was day number 12. For day number 13 tomorrow, you're going to be with Shayna at SB Artistry. So have a wonderful day and happy springtime. Bye for now.